Good evening and welcome into the Your Own Bistro. I am your host, Michelle of YesMichelle Crochets, and I am so excited to be here with you guys this evening. If you don't already know, today is International Granny Square Day, and as such, I personally am working on a Granny Square project. I'm super excited about it. I'd love to know as you enter the chat, one, please do me a favor and hit like on this live stream so that more people are aware that the bistro is open and available. And two, let me know that you're here by saying hello. I'm going to be looking at my phone quite a lot tonight, as I do every night in the Your Own Bistro, because the chat on my screen is oftentimes far behind the chat that I am seeing on the screen that I'm talking to you from. Not to mention, I always end up having to reach forward and move things up so I can see just a little bit better. And I'm going to do that now. But other than that, I hope my audio is okay. We have our jazz in the background, and I have my project available. But most of all, I have you. And that's what matters. By the way, a very pleasant good evening to those of you who were joining in the balcony and working on your projects or doing your thing. Good afternoon, Deborah. How are you tonight? So happy to have you here. And hey there, Beverly. Welcome in. Glad to have you. Big hugs to you all. And I also want to say a very special hello to Team Replay. So glad to have you all here for that purpose. Hey there, Miss Kendall. And hey, Persephone. Welcome in, you guys. So glad to have you. I hope you all have your beverages. I do know that Kay is not feeling well tonight, so I have asked her to please rest, which means I'm kind of on my own for moderation because if I'm not mistaken, Lady Elaine is still working. Hey there, Melissa, welcome in. I do have my beverage on tap and I will be sipping on that. I want to encourage you guys to please stay hydrated throughout this live stream. Like I said, I am celebrating International Granny Square, which I honestly, this is just me, I could be wrong. I believe the only place that is genuinely celebrated is on Instagram. So if you're participating in it over there, by all means, do that. I am not doing that. I am merely doing this because I currently have 3 blankets I need to get done no later than September 15th. So I have my squares that I'm working on, and I will show you what my final square looks like in its granny form. This is part 2, but and I don't want to drop the yarn that I'm working from, so I have that aside. But this is what my granny square is going to look like, and I'm making a total of 9 of these. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do a join as you go connector for this, or if I am going to do the zipper seaming stitch. Different people call it. Kendall said, I hate granny squares. I understand they're not everybody's activity of choice, but they are one of my favorites. They're easy, they're mindless. I can get them knocked out in no time's flat. For example, I think I posted on my post yesterday at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And that was when I started this one. It's done. I'm in the process of doing 8 more so that I can get those knocked out. And like I said, I will stitch them all together. Don't exactly know how I want to assemble them, but once they're done, they will be knocked out. And then I will frame it with a granny square border, and then maybe do a reverse crab stitch to conclude that particular blanket. But this is one of 3 that I need to get knocked out very quickly. And that's why, yes, Granny Square is the choice and the call of the day. I'm even using a Susan Bates. Hey, Vivian, welcome in. It's so glad you are here. They remind me of Hexie Cardi's. Kind of does, has that same motif. But I'm doing, for my main color, since my main color on this blanket is navy, I'm doing 3 rounds of the navy and then 2 rounds of the other 2 colors. Beverly is like me. She says, I like granny squares. I don't like putting them together. I'm a weirdo. I am one of the very few people you will meet that honestly loves different assembly styles because it teaches different techniques when you're using something like that. And I don't know about a lot of people. I hear that a lot of people learned how to do the granny crochet projects first. I think I had been crocheting 5 years before I had ever even mastered or seen someone do granny square projects of any kind, be it a blanket, a wearable, or whatever. And then when the Hexie Granny took off, woo, help us all. Everybody got excited about it. So, like I said, this is what I'm working on tonight. I am going to turn up the music just a little bit. I don't have the strongest voice tonight. And it isn't because I've been fussing. Okay, maybe it is a little. But mostly it's probably because I haven't slept as much as I should have. And though I have been footloose and semi fancy free this weekend, well, this week, what I haven't been is quiet. I've been talking a lot. So the result of it is my voice isn't as strong as I would like for it to be, but we have voice nonetheless. And as I always tell you guys, if you hear noises in my background, please understand I'm not home alone. So there you go. And forgive me, I need something to sip on as we get started. So if you need to grab a drink right now, this is the perfect time to do so. Melissa said, drinking plain water, dieting. I don't, I'm not opposed to that. I don't often drink plain water. I do, but it's a rarity for me. I prefer a little bit of flavor to encourage me to continue to drink it. And Melissa says one of the first things she learned was the granny square. Oh, thank you. Thank you. My throat is sore, and that's the challenge I have. And you're going to have to forgive me because, yes, I need to turn my fan on, but I am going to try to hang it a little bit lower than we normally have it because I do have my mic plugged up. So that means that you're probably going to pick up the sound of my fan pretty easily. And I don't want that to be a distraction, but we have to have what we have to have. And this week, and all of the things that I was able to accomplish, I have been doing my research on how can I keep my iPad plugged up and at the same time have my mic connected. And right now, both of them are connected successfully, and everything seems to be working okay. What I do notice is because there is a splitter for these two devices, sometimes it will immediately tell me it's not charging because it wants to prioritize the energy towards the microphone. Hey, Nana Michelle. Just finished my Coraline sweater and now into the book thanks to me. Oh, you're so sweet. To pick yarn for the Luna sweater. Ooh, see, Nana Michelle, I am so proud of you. I truly am. That excites me because I am only. Hey there, Kim. Welcome in. So glad to have you with us tonight. I'm going to try to set this to the side. But I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, my wearables era. I have the main part of the crop sweater done. I need to do the sleeves. Kendall, send me the little bit of energy you have for enthusiasm on sweater sleeves. And it isn't that it takes a long time, but it does mean I have to count and pay attention. And yes, I dropped it, and no, I don't really care because I still have the yarn itself, and that's what's important. So, super thrilled. And by the way, what are you guys working on tonight as you enter the bistro? I am, like I said, going to turn up that music just a little bit because it's very hard for me to hear, which means you can't hear it at all. That's so much better. That is so much better. And right next to me is my rolling cart of activities. So I have a place to put things as I work. And I need to keep an eye on my remote because I know my people, they'll be going in and out of that door and distracting me. And I don't want that. Kendall says, sleeves are the devil. They are not. I love a good sleeve. So, okay, we're getting notifications, which means I need to turn those off. And let's do that right now. There we go. And Kim says, I'm working on my son's sweater now, finishing up the ribbing on the body. Yes. Next is sleeves. I am sending you all the excitement to get that done as rapidly as possible because I know he's been on you and I've been enthusiastically looking forward to seeing the completion. Nana Michelle says, mango sparkling water in a cup. Ooh, that sounds good. I don't think I can handle it, but it does sound refreshing and delicious. So I encourage you, drink whatever makes you happy that you can handle. Don't drink something you can't handle. And Kim said, Kendall, will you finish these sleeves for me? We are not going to have World War III, please. Please and thank you. Let's keep it cute. But you guys, I am literally, I kid you not, I love sleeves. I just have to pay attention for counting. And I am notorious for substituting the sleeve it calls for. So if it says that I need to have a balloon sleeve and that's not what I'm looking for, then I will search the web for an alternative. Vivian says, watermelon water, drink in my cup. A scrap C2C blanket on my hook. Excellent. I love this. I absolutely love this. Because you guys know I love a good C2C. Love a good C2C. Kendall said, I love you, Kim, but not that much. Ooh. But first she said she loves you. Focus on that part. Focus on that part. And oh my goodness. So let me bring you up to speed on my crazy week because it has been a week to laugh at me. First of all, I have been so lucky. My one of my daycare clients has been off this week on vacation, so I have not had to work my primary job this week. But I was supposed to be filming. Didn't film on Monday. I did film a little bit on Tuesday. Also had to go to the doctor on Monday. Got that out of the way. LOL. Focus on the positive, right? Always focus on the positive. And Nana Michelle said, I hate preparing for sleeves. I have to yarn control for the past 2 sweaters. Something I don't like to do. Oh, no. I just hate seeing them on. Oh, really? I know that you make such beautiful wearables that you encouraged me initially to even start thinking about the whole wearables thing. And then as I watched you struggle with different sleeve styles, I was like, how is she struggling? She's extremely talented. And then I dumped myself into that bucket to learn. Now I know. Now I know. But as I got to master the technique of using stitch markers for increases or decreases as I needed to, game changer for me. And I love sleeves now. But again, I'm also the weirdo who likes to assemble different granny squares. So that explains a lot about me, doesn't it? Okay, let's see. I need to grab a needle and sew in my ends because that's what a responsible person does because I don't want to spend a whole day just sewing in ends. So let me grab a needle. And I don't know if you guys do this. I have something to keep my needles in. It's just a little fob. But what I like to do is add my stitch markers onto the ring so that I have emergency stitch markers when I'm out and about. And during the week, normally I'm usually wearing an apron that has pockets on it. And in the pocket is usually a container of needles for me to use. So there's that. But oh my goodness, you guys. So, like I said, went to the doctor on Monday. That took way longer than it should have. And I was out a whole lot longer than I wanted to be. Tuesday was filming, Wednesday was editing, Thursday was scripting and filming for the other channel. Got that done, thank heavens. So that is going well. Yes, Kim, Amazon for the win on these. I love them. And I especially love the fact that these have that bent tip. I wasn't familiar. And once I started using them, there was no turning back. I love it. But I'll be honest with you, what I miss or the wool needles that have the loop that is, it's not adjustable, but it's easier to get yarns in and out, especially when you're working with bigger yarns. And Kendall said, I'm sorry I can't stay. Going out to eat with husband. Hope you all have a good night. Well, thank you for popping in and saying hello, Kendall. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your dinner. And again, I sincerely appreciate you coming in. I hope that we get to catch you for Team Replay, because it's always fun for you guys to pop in and let me know what you enjoyed about what you saw or what you didn't see. Yes, Vivian, these are extremely helpful. And I'm thinking about doing maybe a mini video about the different notions that I love and what I use often or whatever. That type of thing. I don't know yet. I will do some research. You know, the nerd in me isn't going to just drop a video unless I've done some research. And speaking of, I'm telling on myself here. I had fully scripted, planned, and set up to do a video about granny squares for Monday. So not feeling it. So not feeling it. And when I say so not feeling it, like I'm sitting in my chair, everything set up, the teleprompter ready to go with the information for me to read. Had done the part with the whole mindful reset component, had started on the updates in the back of my mind. I'm thinking about what I need to say for the granny square part, and I'm going, I don't want to say any of that. I want to be honest. I am not feeling it. So you guys are going to get a very different video on Monday, and I certainly hope you enjoy it. But what was sticking in the back of my head for that video was, how many of you have seen on social media the memes of people sitting down for their Netflix confessional? This has been everywhere for me in all of my social media, whether I am on Facebook or I'm on TikTok, or heck, some of the shorts here on YouTube. Some of them have been, like, oh my goodness, did you really say that? And others absolutely hilarious. Like, yarn people have been posting sitting down for the Netflix confessional to explain why their yarn stash isn't decreasing. First of all, why are you taking my inventory if you're not paying my bills? And even if you are paying my bills, hush, hush. So those just cracked me up. I will watch probably any kind of them, including the ones about the people who are animal lovers, and it's like confessional of how I had agreed not to adopt another dog, and then they're sitting down in the chair and all you see are dogs everywhere. And I'm like, yes. Hey, Tina, good to see you. Good to see you. How are you? It is so nice to have you in with us tonight. Welcome to the Bistro. So, yeah, those have been sticking in my head. And honestly, as I was trying to prepare for the Granny Square video, that's all I could think about. So I decided to give you my take on that, as only a nerd could. So I'm giving you that for Monday. And I was able to not only film the Cozy Encyclopedia episode for this week appropriately in time to get it up. Wait a minute. Certain things are not for public discussion. Rude. Say that part again, Vivian. Oh my goodness. You're so right though. But you think about how many people will question you over something that they want you to have, but at the same time judge you for. For example, those of us who crochet, and I know there are people in the audience or in the balcony who are not crochet people. It was a beautiful day today. It truly was, Tina. But as they're sitting there saying, "Oh my goodness, are you gonna buy any more yarn?" The moment that they see something viral in the crochet experience, especially either a plushie if that's your thing, or a blanket that they just know they want for their home, a wearable. Remember the whole trend with the what's that girl's name? I can see her, Taylor Swift. When everybody wanted to have that Taylor Swift dress, all of a sudden now your skill set isn't something they're looking at you for. Oh my God, that's such an old lady thing. Now all of a sudden, can you make me that dress? I don't want to pay anything. I'll buy you the yarn though. Like, I need you to do that. You don't know what you're doing with a hook. I most certainly don't trust you with selecting the right yarn. Try again. So that's me just off rip being honest about it. Yes, yes. Right, right. And Tina is just laughing at me like, Michelle has not changed. No, I have not. I am not going to change. I am who I am. I say what I say, and I mean what I say. So that component of people judging our, desires to watch all the things on YouTube of different styles and techniques. I also have been listening to a lot of people talk about the connection of the fiber arts and mental health, and how the fact that we do this as a craft, whether it's a frugal experience or it's simply something to release the stresses of our everyday lives, the fact that we do this has mental health benefits that maybe we didn't even consider when we first learned how to do this. Me, it was a matter of I didn't know how, so I wanted to know how. There you go. I needed a distraction because I was on bed rest. So I decided to teach myself how to crochet. And now it's what I love, to the point that I literally, wait a minute, let's see if I can reach it. I don't even know if I can pull it loose. It's stuck on something. My knit needle is sitting right here, and guess what? It'll continue to be right there because nope, I'm not using it. Tina said, guess I'm spoiled. No, wait a minute. Nobody tells me I can't buy more yarn. My family tries, but these are the same people who will, and when I say people, I'm particularly talking about my son. That's the one who complains more than anything. Will also hand me a list of 10 things he wants right now, or hand me a weekly grocery list. Sir, pump your brakes. See, you guys are lucky. I hear it from all sides. But at the same time, he mentioned that he saw a blanket that he thought was really, really cute. And he's like, Mom, I know you can make that. Sure can. Now, you did hear me say I need to make 3 blankets. One of them is the blanket he wants. Now, will he get it? We'll see. I don't know. I'm not making any promises because I will not tell him any lies. But yes, that is a constant for me of hearing people question, how do you justify owning a storage unit of yarn? When I hand you the bill, you get to ask me how I justify. Tina said, I would have never thought crochet can be an addiction either. Oops. I didn't know that I was an enabler, but there's that. There's that. One second. I am just getting rid of the tail on this one. And setting it to the side. So yeah, it's an addiction, but it's also one of the things that they're pointing to that staves off dementia and Alzheimer's, or at least they've noticed that people who are fiber artists are less likely to have severe responses to those things. It doesn't mean they never get them, but it does mean they're more likely not going to have such a quick and obvious decline. So I've shared that information. There you go, your tip of the day. Have fun with that. And I am going to add this part. And here's the thing that I wanted to say about the whole fiber arts as a mental health thing. When you brought up the idea of an addiction, there are so many micro addictions within the crochet thing, whether it is the yarn addiction or the hook addiction or the notions addictions or the pattern collecting addiction. There is a lot within. I know that I have a scissor issue. I love scissors. Like, I saw these, had to have them. Had to have them. A, because they're rainbow. B, because I have big hands. And C, because they're cute. They are cute. Do I have 3 pair? Again, I'm not chatting about that. It is what it is. So there's that. And last Sunday, during our stitch circle, I started on my planner. And here's what I learned about me doing that live. Because even after, I still had to add some things and change some things. So what I've done for this week is I have pre-decorated my pages. I'm going to fill out some of the information that I need to make sure is on my calendar for this week. And next week is even crazier. I will add only a very tiny portion of the information as it relates to my daycare, because there's a lot of moving parts with that. And I'm never going to share my daycare family's names. But I do need to remember that I have some things going on related to that experience that need to stay visible and in the forefront of my mind. Tina said, when you rule out the trigger finger and the ganglion cyst, what can you do? Yeah. I've had trigger thumb surgery. I am prone to the trigger finger factor. And what I will typically do if I notice that I'm having a tightening or a muscular issue, other than, of course, appropriate stretching. Speaking of stretching, we are almost 30 minutes into the live stream. I am going to encourage you, A, hydrate, 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 and B, please stretch. Make those muscles just kind of move and relax a little bit. Unless you're not, hooking along or tinking along, depending on what your activity of preference. But make sure you're stretching your body, because we're going to be here for a little bit. And I want to make sure you don't stiffen up or have muscles lock up. Now, Nana Michelle said, okay, narrow down the yarn for the Luna sweater to Yarn Art Flowers Glitter. Oh, color. What are our options? What color choices are our options? Because I know for me, something in the red family would be exciting. However, maybe blues, because again, the blues, I'm feeling it. Hey there, kitty, welcome in. Hey there, sugar, welcome in. Glad to have you guys. By the way, don't forget, as you enter the chat, do me a real quick favor. Exit the chat and make sure that you're hitting the like button so more people know that the Yarn Bistro is open and they bring themselves on in and hang out with us. I'm always, always so excited when you guys arrive. And Sugar said, hey there to everyone in the chat. And Tina said, that's a good idea. I don't know what I said that was a good idea, but yay me. So yeah, as far as the circle tomorrow, yeah, I have pre-screened and pre-planned what my layout is going to look like, and I've got that all done and locked. It's in the planner, and all I have to do is, once I finish tonight's live, lay those out on my table so that I can write my notes of what needs to go in. And Vivian said, well, fall is coming. Fall colors are your favorite. I struggle with fall colors. I love them, mostly pumpkin, but color wise, it's not a great color palette for me. So I usually go alternative colors, warmer, but still closer to the gold look, or closer to the jewel tone look, I mean. And Nana Michelle said, teal, green, and blue. Yes, yes. So we're making this for Michelle, right? Yes, yes. No? You sure? Because I love the color. And Sugar said, already hit the thumbs up. Kitty said, I use my thumbprint to enter, and I thank you. And I thank you. You guys are so hilarious. Thank you all for being here tonight. So, like I said, I'm excited about tomorrow. And I'm also grateful that I've gotten a lot of the work that I needed to do done. It's back to the grind of the daycare work for me on Monday. So that also means that there will not be any staying up all night, Netflixing and crocheting, because that's my version of chill. But yeah, I have to remember also to go to bed tonight so that I can be bright eyed and bushy tailed for tomorrow's live stream. And man, I'm telling you, when I say my brain just hit a total pause, it really did, because I thought about how excited I was after I finished filming the video that I'm dropping on Monday, on Thursday, not about having a day where I didn't have to work so hard on Friday, but about being here tonight. I'm a weirdo. That's right. Happy Granny Square Day to all the yarnies. Exactly. Right here. See, Tina, you get it. I'm a Granny Square person. I love them. I love assembling them. Though I have always struggled with the join as you go method, that is something that I'm planning to try to do again. I'm going to peruse the interwebs and see if I can get some unique tips or takes on how to do it. And Tina said stretching was a good idea and reminder. Oh, okay. See, this is what happens when you're in the room by yourself and this is all you're doing. Your brain will drop the thought and move on. At least mine does. All the time. All the time. So that is always funny to me. I will literally have a thought, say it out loud, and completely forget it. I don't know how many times I have told one of my kids, hey, remember whatever that may be. Like, I might want to remember that I need to add garlic powder to a pot, and tell my child as I'm walking through the hallway, hey, remember garlic. Get to the kitchen and not remember why I walked in there, and genuinely can't remember. So I have to yell down the hall, hey, what did I tell you to remember? And the kid yells back, garlic. Heaven help us all if they forgot too, because that happens as well. So though it makes me feel like, okay, double nickels and a penny is starting to lose our memory. No, I just have a lot of things on my mind, and simple things will slip through the cracks. And I figure once I've said it, I'm done with it and I move on to something else. So that happens to me more than I care to say, but it is what it is. And I got some of my laundry done. I didn't get it all done. And I will admit, I didn't get anything folded. But I didn't even go to bed until this morning at 4:30. I finally got my primary view of what my one of my 9 granny squares is going to look like. And for those of you who have just entered, I got to show you. I got to show you. But yeah, it's a pretty big one for it being one of 9. But I'm going to assemble all of these, and then I'm going to do several rounds of these colors to build it up, and then I'll figure out a border. I don't know what my border is going to look like. I don't know if I want to do modern granny or if I want to do moss or something else altogether. Who knows? Tina said, that is flipping hilarious. What a household you run. Oh, okay. I'm telling you, it's crazy how, oh, I have messed up in this one. Apparently I cut something because it's coming loose, but I'm glad to know it. Look, I got so inspired by, I have so many dark, rich colors. 430, yes, Persephone, 430. We gotta see. I showed. But yes, 4:30 this morning. At 2 o'clock this morning, I posted on my community post about the fact that it's International Granny Square Day, though I think the only place it's genuinely celebrated is on Instagram. Nonetheless, just see. Hey, welcome in, Army Mom. So glad to see you tonight. You have been on my mind. So glad to have you. But nonetheless, in the process of thinking of this day and the fact that I did abandon the concept that I wanted to do for that video, I wanted to make sure that I created something that gave homage to a project that I dearly love, which is the Granny Square. And yes, I know it's not everybody's everything, but it's mine, and that's good enough for me. So, with that in mind, I started on this particular square, and the nerd in me immediately started researching, are there different project patterns that I wanted to look at using? And honestly, I just went back to a tried and true mindset of 3-2. And that's my math for this. And I'm loving the way it's coming together. I get to use my favorite yarn. Well, one of my favorites. I am using Karen 1 pound, but another one that I love is the I have some. And that's actually, this is my navy because I didn't have enough of Karen 1 pound in navy. So, and I'm using it the midnight blue for another project. But this is the Premier's Just Yarn. And I bought these when they were at Dollar Tree for $5 each. Love them. Love them. So I am breaking my own rule. I am mixing yarns. My white is also the Just Yarn, but the dark brown that you're seeing, which is taupe, is Karen 1 pound because though it might be available in Premier, I'm going to use what's available because at 1 o'clock in the morning, I can't call up somebody and say, hey, can you drop off 6 pounds of yarn to my house because random. And the storage unit isn't open at that hour. Well, if it is, I'm not getting up and going. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know if I missed a stitch or what happened here, but all of a sudden it started coming loose. So I am removing this row, well, this color, and restarting my white. I see what it is. And with that said, we're cutting it because I will not fight with yarn. I will fight for your attention sometimes, not often. I'm lucky enough you guys are amazing by paying attention to my insanity, but I will not fight with yarn. And okay, I have to ask a controversial question. I know my answer, but I'd love to know yours. I think I know Kendall's though, because she mentioned that I think it was Kendall who said that she's working on a scrap project. But nonetheless, once you've used yarn, let's say you're working on a skein of yarn and you got a little bit left, what do you do with it? Do you put it on the shelf and save it, or do you add it to a scrap project, or do you throw it away? What is your approach to scrap products? Because I know mine, and I want to hear yours before I tell you what I do, because some of you may go, Michelle, I will hurt you. But it's my honest truth. So, forgive me, I am about to grab my cup. Like I said, one of the differences between you all listening to me and me always talking, my throat gets drier a whole lot faster. Though, when I saw my doctor, he was very thrilled with my hydration because I am listening to sugar and I'm going to try new flavors. Save it. Deborah says she is a yarn saver. She's going to hold on to her little scraps and things. And Kim says, I make scrap cakes. Tina said, throw it in a bag with the other little balls. Okay. See, I am the odd man out here. If I don't have enough of it to genuinely have something stand as its own thing, I'm tossing it. And Vivian said, I throw it in a scrap basket for scrap projects. Never. For two reasons. Whatever that scrap is, if I'm not holding on to the label, I'm going to mix yarns. And I almost never do that, although I'm doing it here. Depends on how much is left. Now, see, Nana Michelle, that's where I will agree with you. If I've only used a little bit of some yarn, then I'll keep it. But if it's not enough, if it's tiny little scraps, I toss it. Okay, so what's your definition of a tiny little scrap? Because honestly, if it's 1 ounce or less, it's gone. I might keep two if I need to make a tiny headband or an accent to a project, but even that, no. Nana Michelle says, so far it's on my cart. Yes, I love it. So, Nana Michelle, since you are using the glitter, are you going to pair it with one that isn't glitter, or are you going straight lean into the glitter of it all? I'm loving this. I cannot wait to find out what you finally decide that you're going to do. I want to know. Go ahead, pull the trigger. Get the yarn. Okay, that's me telling you while simultaneously constantly telling myself to slow down. And Tina said, I may have a scrap cake to use on an amigurumi. How cool! A couple of yards, maybe. I can't say that. And I'm one of those people, I love making yarn cakes, and I never make scrap cakes because I'll never use them. There are cuttings that I pitch into scraps and roll into balls. Now, see, I have this. This is my little cuttings scrap can. They go in there and then in the trash can. Because no. This is annoying me. And Nana Michelle said, I like tiny yarn. So it will just be the moonlight glitter. No pairing it. I love it though. I've seen some of your work. You are amazing. I like yarn that has some thickness and density to it. So that's an issue for me. But it's not everybody's everything. I love a good heavy yarn. And oh, just for the record, you guys do realize that literally in a matter of weeks, we're going to see those anniversary cakes dropping again. I'm so looking forward to seeing what comes out next, what colors, how they do it, and what's coming up next. And Army Mom said, my leftover yarns, scrap yarns, are sorted by brands. That makes perfect sense. I love it. But no. Well, first of all, it has to be sorted by brands because we're not mixing. We are not mixing. We are sorting according to. And again, depending on how much is left, no. Because I'm not I babysit little people. I'm not babysitting little yarn. I mean, think about it. My favorite yarn is carrying 1 pound. I like quantity. It's what gives me the feeling of quality. Nana Michelle said, the thick yarns hurt my hands. 4-weight feels bulky to me. Oh my goodness. I struggled to even do DK weighted yarn, and anything less, I'm running two together. Heck, with some DKs, I'm running two together because I just can't. I can't deal with it. I don't. I love the look of the delicacy and the daintiness of small yarn, but to work with it, one, your girl is blind when it comes to being able to see that tiny detail of yarn. So I'm not fighting with that. It's just not happening. It's not going to work for me. And two, I just like the coziness of 4 and 5 weighted yarns. That's my jam. So, and I have to ask you guys if you all ever checked out the television show I mentioned to you all with Ride or Die, because oh my goodness, I enjoyed the hootenanny out of that. And I forgot what I just watched. And I honestly do not remember what it was, but whatever it was, I enjoyed it. And my goodness. And I'm listening to a book on Audible. 1 second. Netta Michelle said, back in the early 90s before YouTube, of course. Of course. And speaking of before there was a YouTube, the book I'm listening to is I can see it, and the sixth. I can't think of Daisy Jones and the Six. This is all about these artists, these music artists from the 70s. And the story is told from each one of their point of view about their experience together as a group. It's eye-opening and interesting and exciting, and I didn't even know who they were before this book, but now I'm interested in hearing more of their music. I like things like that. Okay, Persephone, I will see you in the morning as well. Please, my dear, get some rest and take good care of yourself. Tina said, too bad. You can make some nice shawls with bamboo thread. I used it, and wow. You know what? I just run two together for a little bit of thickness. I will patiently work through with the thinner yarns. Army Mom said, oh, love Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm just getting exposed to their music, but you see me blushing because learning the backstory and the things that we didn't know. And Tina said, I think I saw the movie. This was a book recommendation from a friend of mine that I know in real life. And I don't know if this was her musical genre at that time or not. I am gonna ask her because I have like less than an hour left of the book. I have no approach. I don't know where to start. You have no approach to what, my darling? What can we help you get started on? Talk to me. We will do this together. Let me know what it is we can work on with you. I am always here for that. This is part of what we do. And you'll forgive me for looking off to the side, but I need to grab my other yarn. And I'm trying not to hit my mic, but I know I'm super close to it at that point. I apologize. Watch Daisy Jones and the Six on Prime. Okay, I will definitely be watching that. That is one of those I will add to the queue. Missed you, Army Mom. So glad you're here. So, yes, that has been an interesting listen. And I have a couple of other books that have been recommended to me. Some from you guys. And I'm excited to take a look at new books to listen to while I crochet. I feel yarn, and there it is. Let me see if I can hang this right here. They can be used to stuff amigurumi. Now, if I did amigurumi, I agree. I am not an ami person. It just never, I love the look of them though. I do. I've seen so many really cool things made with amigurumi, and I've learned a lot about it because of the stitch circle and watching you guys talk about the things you enjoy making. But from the nerdy aspect of it, doing the cozy encyclopedia and learning that certain techniques or things that are primary parts of amigurumi, but it's not my story. I'm just being fair with it. It's not what I do. And yes, if I had something that needed to be stuffed, I would keep scraps. But since I don't make things that need to be stuffed, there's literally no purpose for it for me. Now, I do sometimes save, bits of and pieces of yarn as art activities for my daycare kids, but that's as far as it's going. I'm not doing it. They will dip it in glue and then add it to paper or whatever. Yes, scraps can be used to stuff. I saw someone stuff with yarn they didn't like. I don't blame them. Hey, Sarah, welcome in. You are never late. Never late. And so glad to have you here. So, yes, I am, like I said, that's not my wheelhouse. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just not the thing for me. But same with me and my granny squares. They're not the thing for everybody, but they are absolutely for me. And I like that this is something that I can do in a mindless fashion. I don't have to focus on each and every stitch and count along the way. I do have to feel it, and I do have to remember, hey, this is a corner turn. Ami made me learn that there are 4 types of single crochet. Who'd have thought, right? And I have learned not because of Ami, but just because I'm the nerd that I am. Forgive me, I'm going to put this a little bit higher. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. But I have learned about the overhanding of yarn, like yarn over versus yarn under, different tips and tricks along the way that I was never even conscious of that I do, that I'm told are quite a lot like those who make amigurumi products. I did not know that, despite the fact that I'm a very loose stitcher, I am not, um, I am, the way I hold my yarn and even the way that I hang it across my hook is very Ami friendly. And I'm like, that's cute. I'm still not going to do it. So yeah, this is my mindless project of the day. And I feel bad because today was supposed to be my last day on my calendar for time to work on, oh shoot, I forgot to bring it back in here. Um my Wanderer's Mosaic blanket. I made some progress with it, not nearly enough, but I knew that was going to be a long-term project for me. It's coming along. I'm excited about it, but like I said, I forgot to bring it in here because it's sitting next to my recliner. Tina's laughing at me. She's like, Lord, Michelle, it is what it is. I'm not that girl. It's kind of like I love learning things for the sake of knowing it. So it's a mental exercise and flex for me. Okay, knowing something makes me feel a lot better. However, participating in a given activity doesn't have to be the case. Under, over, and under. Too funny. That would be me. I mix them. Well, I try not to. And now that I am doing the tutorials to show you all how to create the stitches and things like that, I'm so much more cognizant of those things, but some things I can never change, such as how I hold my yarn or how the position of my fingers changes. A, because I don't want to lock my fingers up, but B, because that's my counting mechanism. Certain numbers make me move my hand a certain way so that I remember what my count is. And I am weird because I move my tall finger a lot, and it can become distracting for some people. And I apologize in advance, but I taught myself. So my weird ways of doing things is what works best for me. I always encourage people to do what works best for them. Like today, I am using a Susan Bates, when truthfully, I wanted to use my furls hook. Why am I not using my furls hook? Because it wasn't by my bed at 1:30 this morning. But this is usually what's right next to my bed, because if I drop this or I lose this, I don't really feel bad. Besides, I have several of them. I only have one set of each of my blush and my Rivieras, so they stay where I can see them unless they're in a project. And Tina said, do you wrap around your wrist unconsciously at times? Sometimes, yes. Yes. Though I try not to, that does occasionally happen. The best way, right? The key for me, like I said, is do what feels most productive for me. I am not a girl who worries about doing things quickly. I don't need to be a fast crocheter. Slow crow is just fine for me. Now there are those who would not be able to crochet if they couldn't do it quickly. I get that. I understand that. That's not my story. It's not my testimony, because I am the queen of multitasking. While I am crocheting, I am sitting here hosting the Yarn Bistro with you and thinking about the fact that I enjoyed my dinner, but I want some cookies. Now, you probably didn't need to know that, but that's honestly what I'm thinking. And we are 2 minutes shy of the top of the hour. You guys, thank you all for being with me. And hello, my balcony people. As I always try to do on the 30-minute segment, because my team reminds me that I forget to say something. By all means, if you haven't already done so, do me a favor, exit the chat for just a second and hit the like button. If you've already done so, then thank you in advance. I appreciate that. And of course, if you are a part of Team Replay, then one, I'm sorry that we didn't get to see you live. Two, thank you for hitting like. And three, do me a favor, tickle that bell notification so that we can get you here in the bistro during real-time activities, because your company is always appreciated. And of course, to my balcony people, hey there, hey, I know you're there. I see you and I love you. Now, having said all of that, let me stop for a second, literally mid-row, and have a sip of my cup as well. So, as I'm sitting here sipping on my cup, yes! Okay, what's the flavor of tea of the day? Nana Michelle, you simply must tell. Because that's my evening wind down piece as I intentionally get ready to go to bed. See you around, Tina. Take care, be good, and don't forget to pop by from time to time, because I do think of you often. And I love you, darling. So, Nana Michelle, you got to tell me. And my evening wind down as I get ready to turn around and do another live in the morning is the fact that I am going to have a cup of tea, do my brain dump, and make sure that I have everything set up so that I can start again in the morning. But I usually end my evening with tea. And I get that honestly from my son. I'm not much of a tea person. So I'm always influenced and inspired by others, and even my own child. 1, 2, And let me turn. So I was laughing as I was sipping my water about the fact that I was always so nervous with going live. And now I do it with such ease. And it feels so natural in a way that it never felt before. And I love that growth experience for me. I'd love to know how many of you do things that previously may have given you pause. Maybe it was a project that you're currently making or you've made, and initially you felt like you might not have had the ability or the skill set. Nana said, that is a hard choice, but it is evening, so it will be lavender chamomile tonight. Ooh, I would probably not do well with that because I have not been able to digest chamomile easily. However, I do love it. I love the taste of it, but my stomach doesn't like the response of it. Thank you, sugar. Appreciate that. I truly do. And you guys, here's something I want to share because I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do it. So I'm saying it now and it will have been said. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you guys already know I do not have memberships over here. And that's simply because I don't have the time to offer the things I would like to see be a part of memberships for my channel. But I do have a Buy Me a Coffee account. And if you will do me a favor and check out the description box, you will find the link to that should you choose to support. And I greatly appreciate you guys for that. And Nana Michelle said, I said, I've never made sweaters. So far this year, you've made 11. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? I am so proud of you. Well, you are a Michelle, so why am I surprised? I am not. I am proud though. I genuinely am. You go. My goal at the start of this year was to make 12 wearables. And as long as I get the sleeves on that crop sweater that's over there on my bed, then I will have successfully kept my track record of getting at least one done every month. So I'm excited to get the sleeves on and off that. But that's something I have to do in the evening. And speaking of my crazy schedule this week, we have to finalize the things that are going to campus with my son because move-in day is this Friday. And I'm giving you guys the heads up right now. I am not sure if we are going to be in the Yarn Bistro next week. And if we are, we're either going to start a little bit later or we're not going to be able to make it the full 2 hours simply because I need to make sure that I give myself a little bit of rest next weekend. Nana said, well, I'm also a Michelle that has no interest in making armies, so we have that in common for sure. Exactly. Hello. I think it's just an us thing, but that's okay. I love that for us. So let me get this locked down and then get this stitched. And I now know how the incident happened where it unraveled. It unraveled when I cut the tail off of this one. So we got that secure. And let me get this locked down. There. So I think I've placed all the Amazon orders I need to for everything that we need. The beauty of it is this isn't our first rodeo with heading off. It's kind of like muscle memory to some extent. I got a storage unit exclusively for those things that he has to have back and forth for school. And then when he's home for the summer or extended breaks where they can't be on campus, those things are not in my way because, yeah, I don't have space for it. Not to mention, I just don't want to deal with it. The problem is when those things are not right up under your vision, things that need to be replaced, you're not aware of it until the last minute. So we're dealing with that. And I don't mind. I don't mind. One thing I can say for sure that has been an honor is, one, we're talking about somebody who's neurodivergent attending college. And I am so lucky to get to parent someone who struggles, but at the same time overcomes and achieves things. It's a source of pride for me. Oh, thank you, Sarah. You are so sweet. She said, I like the way you work your hook. For me, the key of how I manage my hook has everything to do with the size of the hook. If it's short, I am stumbling and struggling, and it's just not landing the way I want it to, because it's honestly too small for my hands. I have very large hands, and that was always an issue with me as a kid. Like, I remember when we were ordering class rings forever ago, but all my friends were ordering 6.5, 7. I had to order 8.5. And it wasn't because I wanted it for the middle finger. I literally had it on my ring finger size. That was an 8.5. This was a 9. This was an 8.5 as well. But my thumb was like a 9.5. And now my thumb is a 10 because the knuckles have gotten bigger over time. And yeah, I have big hands. However, it does mean I can grab larger quantities of yarn. And that is not a bad thing. So there, let me get this last one in. I'm stitching in ends. It seems like I was just doing that 2 seconds ago. And here I am doing it again. Because in the beginning, and this is the trickery of granny squares. When you first start, you get through the round very quickly. But the more rounds you add, the longer it takes you to get from side to side to side and around. And that can be a challenge. But for me, it's fun. So I'm in my head laughing because I'm like, again, does not stop talking. That reminded me of being a child and hearing teachers think, oh, yeah, she doesn't ever stop talking. I was talking to a friend of mine, about the fact that as a kid, I had teachers in high school who encouraged me to not come to class because I was a distraction and a disruption. There was no place in the room you could put me that I wasn't going to talk to somebody. I knew everybody and had no problem talking about anything with anyone. So that is why, to me, it is comical that I struggled for so long with the idea of doing live streaming. Now, I get that for me, it's an anxiety factor because I always want to make sure I don't say something that I shouldn't. And that's an issue. Not to mention, yours truly has a potty mouth, and I don't ever want to say an inappropriate adult word that I shouldn't say on my channel. So, making sure that I retain that level of composure is important. And I want to give you the most authentic version of me. And though it's edited because I can't share private information and I cannot let you hear raw data information, I can always share the elements of who I am as a person. And I've heard, and yes, I'm pausing because this is going to sound like a judgment and it's not meant to be. It's just a fact. I have recently listened to different niches of people talk about who they are at the core of themselves. And these same people will sit there and tell you that, oh, I'm a thoughtful person. I'm kind, I'm supportive, I'm relatable. You just spent $850 on a purse. Who are you relating to? Because I'm baffled and confused. So those types of things. And that's an example that I had the unfortunate opportunity to see. But I listen to people all the time try to describe themselves in this way or that way. And it doesn't always ring true. I will tell you, I'm mostly kind, but I will kindly hurt your feelings if you come for me or mine. Army mom is laughing at me. I'm just saying. Think about it. Think about it. First of all, in no other aspect of the world is there a such job as an influencer except in social media. And I have been watching influencers who were making the kind of money that buys $1 million homes crash out because people are starting to realize they don't need to be influenced. I do not need you to tell me about the latest cooking trend or the latest pots and pans. I can do my own research. Ironically, I happen to be a nerd. I can do it. And I wouldn't trust, Mary Jane from Middle America to tell me all about the places to shop and go in New York City because, girl, bye. In that order and bye. I'm sorry, my music will shut off whenever somebody goes in or out the door. So thank you all for being patient with me as I address this. At the same time, I would never listen to a person who has only lived in New York tell me, and I know there are forms in New York before you come for my throat. Please know that I know that. However, I would never ask a person in New York to tell me about how to buy property by the acre in Indiana. For me, that's the same thing as somebody who has 22 years old. You want to tell me about your skin routine? Your skin routine is still half wet from your birth. Stop. Go sit down. And yet they'll do it. And people who will tell you, I genuinely care about my community. And then I've literally watched those same influencers. I knew that person that left the house was going to come back in and interrupt my music again. They're done feeding the pets and putting the laundry in the dryer. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it, Melissa. But they'll say how they're, these kind, amazing and genuinely authentic people. And then they'll send messages or they'll be in a conversation. I call it the hot mic moment, when you don't know who is going to hear or see what you've said. And it's completely opposite of who you present yourself to be. I tell you all the time, I love you. And I mean that. But I will also tell you, I don't like that. I will keep it 100.5 because it is what it is. If I don't like something, I don't like it. It's the reason I have the rules that I have in place for the channel, especially in live stream situations. I've had people who will assume because they think they know me that they can say or do things when I very clearly said we don't do that over here. I have had people I thought were genuinely my friends whom I've had to block from the channel. Just being honest. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be me. It was hard in the beginning because you get the impression you're supposed to engage in a certain way, do things in a certain way. And nah, if you make me feel some kind of way, or you think that you're above anybody in this room, you are sorely mistaken. The only person of value in this room is the person who's listening to my voice. And they are no more of value than the other person listening to my voice. So, yeah, I was under the delusion that I could not do certain things, say certain things, or talk about certain things on my channel. And having the rules and regulations shared with me honestly by other content creators sometimes. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just being honest about my personal experience in this world. There were people, many of whom aren't around anymore, who I looked to for advice and influence on how to start a successful channel because I thought they were successful. They're gone. I'm here. I'm lucky enough to have had people who could be cautionary tales for me. And because of it, in some of those ways, I was able to grow my channel to the degree of monetization. And I've had people who question, are you genuinely monetized because you don't have memberships? Memberships don't make you monetized. And memberships do not tell anyone your effort to make your channel be what it's supposed to be. Nana Michelle said, okay, back from making the tea and had to feed the cats. Did I read that? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, no, I got confused because I have two of you that are working with your pets tonight. And I'm glad that we took care of our pets. That is always important. Hey, Izzy, welcome in. Welcome in. You are not late, my friend. You are not late. Glad to have you here. When you arrive and you are welcome. And that's the part I want you to know. So, yeah, I was told that you have to do this, you have to do that. You can't do this or you can't do that. All these unnecessary rules that did not apply because they weren't true. I was told you have to go live, but live was literally making me sick. So stepping away and having a better understanding of what I wanted this platform to look like for me, using my voice my way and saying my own thing is what has sustained me in ways that I have not seen to be true on those very people who were telling me to do things that did not align with who I am. Now, did I have to start using my own mindset to see myself not just as a person first, please. AI is only an assistant. But second, to see myself as a brand. Yeah. To understand that when I go into other lives, in certain situations, it's better for me to go in as an alias because the key isn't there. My showing up isn't for me to promote my channel. I also don't want there to be an erroneous belief that I align with content creators that may not be acceptable to everybody that watches me. That's the thing I've grown to understand in all this time. And it wasn't an easy lesson to learn, but it's one that I needed to know. And if you're wondering why I'm saying all this right now, it's because with the introduction of the new regulations for monetization and the fact that I know there are people in the chat or just in the balcony who are listening with their mindset of, I might want to start a channel, or I have a channel and I want to take it to the level of monetization, and them feeling afraid I don't want you to be afraid. I first want you to know what's your why. Understand that this, I'm sorry, Melissa said, is a hexacardi basically the granny stitch? Certain ones are. There are different patterns that use different stitch techniques. I'm thinking of Siren's, I think her channel is Siren's Crochet, and I don't often mention other uh, designers, but I particularly want to mention her because I know she has a hexacardi. Basically, any hexagon shape sewn together to create a sleeve motif, whatever stitch style you use is a hexacardi. The two words hexagon, cardi, cardigan, sweater. So that's what that is. Now, the most popular designs we've seen are that of a granny square. So I hope that better explains it. Ask a nerd, you'll get a nerdy answer. But as I was saying, I really want to share the importance of knowing what you want to say before you press the play button. Make sure that you aren't being a cut, copy, paste of somebody else. And don't be afraid to be a rebel, because sometimes being a rebel will bring you the audience that you might be afraid you'll never get. And viral, don't worry about going viral. Worry about sticking to the rules that you set for yourself, showing up for your community when you say you're going to be there. Those are the things you need to focus on. So, that was my TED Talk about YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you didn't, I hope you understand that sometimes a girl's going to say what a girl's going to say. It is what it is. But you also know that I'm going to speak my mind when something is on my mind. And lately, what has been on my mind is watching, not, and please understand, I don't just watch crochet content. I watch all types of content. I have multiple interests, and watching some of the people that I used to see as mentors in all types of spaces and getting a sight behind the scene has been eye-opening and in some ways alarming. Keep in mind, the other thing I love to do is I'm a couponer, and I'm seeing different couponers change their strategies and techniques. Some of them because they weren't doing what serves them or brings them joy. But that definitely has no place here tonight. So there is that. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw, I just got a notice from my youngest that they are having Earl Grey tea tonight. And despite the fact that I have the notifications silenced because their priority, they will always break through. And I just saw him mention that he has his tea, and I love that for us both. And Melissa said, "Thank you. I was thinking of trying to make one, but I don't know if I can figure out the arms." Um, Melissa, there are a lot of different tutorials out there that will not only teach you about the different styles they create, but they will also show you how to fold it. But what I found is, as long as you put the two corners, let me grab something that I can actually show you with. As long as you take the two corners, now mind you, there's other things off to the side. Don't worry about that. Just take the two that are closest to each other and put one on top of the other. It will fold into the L shape that it's supposed to be. And remember, the way it folds in and down is under your arm and down your side. So I hope that makes it make a little more sense. I am always happy to answer whatever questions we can ask and answer here in our community, because this is what we're here for. We are a community of sharers and givers and teachers. And if I can simplify the understanding of something, then I'm glad to do it. Now, if you want me to overcomplicate it for you, I can do that too. I'm just being fair and honest with you. One of the things that I have learned about myself as a person is give me the simplest thing and I can overcomplicate the stew out of it. And at the same time, give me the most complicated thing and I will find the easiest way to get it done, because again, multitasking, I'm always thinking of how can I get this done as fast as is reasonable for my schedule. So there is that. Let me get this. I have a spot that doesn't feel correct. It is correct, it just doesn't feel right. And I think what it was my stitches were a little looser than I had anticipated. It'll still work out, but that's just one of those moments. And we are about 3 minutes from what would be 8:30 in my world. I'm not exactly sure the time in yours, but that means this is the perfect time for us to take a second, put our items in our hands down, stretch, and hydrate. And I'm going to put mine down in a second. I got 3 minutes to do so. I just want to get to the end of this row. So give me just a half moment and I will be there. 1, 2. Oh yeah, I have a internal rule to myself not to count, and I just broke it. I don't count so that I don't mess your count up. Oh, that's so good. Yay me. So my stretch. Oh, sorry guys, but right here, the muscle, I think they call it tennis elbow, maybe they call it something else, but the muscles that are related to the carpal tunnel are tightening on my arm because I have not given myself the breaks that I'm supposed to. So we have to remember to stretch. Silas! Hello, my friend. Glad to see you. Oh my goodness. So glad to have you here tonight. I I'm laughing because I was like, literally, you got about one more day to not pop up, and I'm about to send you a message and make sure you're okay. You know, I think about you. See, that's one of the things I find amazing about our community. You build relationships with people and you get used to seeing a name, and when it disappears for a while, you miss it. So it's always great when and I understand. I am available when I'm available. You're available when you're available, and it doesn't always line up when our schedules match. But it doesn't mean you aren't thought of. And many of you have, joined replays or things like that for me and said hello in the comments when you could. And it means everything to me. It means everything to me. So I thank you all for being here. Of course, it is officially the 30-minute mark. So if you have not grabbed your cup, then make sure you do that. And if you are just arriving and you've forgot to, as you entered the chat, do me a favor, exit for just a moment and hit that like button for me. Thank you so, so much in advance for that. And I'm not calling anybody out, but here's what the analytics of the YouTube studio have shared with me. There are a lot more people who watch me on a regular basis that aren't currently subscribed, or maybe they were subscribed and YouTube did its magical, whatever you want to call it, and unsubscribe. So while you're hitting that like button, do me a favor and check and make sure you're also subscribed to the channel, because I am really appreciative of the support that this community has given me. It means everything to me. It really, really does. Because I never envisioned, honestly, never envisioned that I would hit that 1,000 subscriber mark when I made that first video. I'm telling you, I sat there nervous. I I don't even remember if I studied. I can't remember what that video looks like because I won't look at it. I don't need to do that to me, and I don't encourage you to do that to you unless you need a good laugh. But I did admit it was going to be cringy, and it was. Don't know how I got through it. Hey, Charlotte, speaking of people who are always amazing about coming back and watching things for me and being with me, this would be Charlotte. Charlotte, I love you. Hi. She says, hello, Michelle and everyone on the chat. I made it in and did the thumb. Thank you, my love. Thank you. But I will tell you guys, she is one of those people that has been around with me for quite a lot of my cringy, crunchy days and has rocked with me. And I am so, so grateful. But so many of you are in that category for me. You've been there. You've watched me as I transitioned, I spiraled, I learned, I grew. I figured out where the heck the darn camera on my iPad was. I figured out that if I am pre-filming, as long as I'm not using my teleprompter, turning the light down gets the glare off my glasses, and then upgrading the glasses so the glare is not as obvious. Oh, thank you so, so much. I'm telling you, sometimes a girl needs a love fest, and you guys know exactly when to show up to give it to me. And yeah, I jokingly said this morning, I don't know if I need a hug or a thump to the forehead. I was lucky I got a hug, because the same person I was talking to would have very easily thumped me in my forehead and gotten away with it. And there aren't very many people who can say that they would. But I'm also the same person you don't hit. It's not a good idea. It's not safe. So, and Charlotte, I have to ask, what are you working on tonight? And the same for you, Silas. What are you making tonight? I just want to know, because we have about a little less than 30 minutes left before we're going to conclude for the night. As you guys know, for those of you who are just entering, or those of you who may not have seen the changes of my schedule, we no longer de-stitch circle on Saturdays. Now we do it on Sunday morning. And I like to start 30 minutes earlier than I would normally do, because that gives me the chance to update my planner. I know not everybody is a planner person, but your girl is. And I have to live and die by that planner, because how else will I remember where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do, and how I'm supposed to get it done? Plus, it's a different form of art, and I like sharing that with you guys. So I am almost to the corner on this side, and I love that for me. Love my granny squares. And again, to those that are just entering, welcome to International Granny Square Day. This was a day for me that was supposed to create a video, and it turned into me having a very different video concept. So I abandoned my granny square video idea, because honestly, even for me, it was team too nerdy. And we know I live and die by my nerdy. But that was just it. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't excited about it. And as I said at the top of the hour, it one of the things that had been on my mind was, like I said, I love that for you. And you know what? I do too. I love it for me. It's not everybody's thing, but what I love is even when I'm doing something that isn't necessarily your particular interest, maybe you enjoy watching the way I do what I do. Maybe you just know, okay, if I rock with her for this, I get what I really want or what I came here for. Maybe it's just that you guys are amazing people and you're like, okay, as long as it's not dangerous and it's not harmful, have at. So whatever the reason is that I have your company, I'm always grateful. And Silas says, my hooks are resting tonight. It has been a long day, but tomorrow I will be working on a few whips. Well, of course, please join us in the Stitch Circle. I will get started at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So that, of course, like I said, will begin with me editing and updating the planner so that I stay on track. And then, of course, we will have our trivia and we will have our chat. And Charlotte said, I was just watching a granny square tutorial, and that's what I'm working on. I love it. I had to get a refresher on construction of the granny square. Well, there are different techniques depending on what type of granny square you're doing. And by that, I mean, some people go around and around and around. Some people connect in the middle of a row. Some people connect in the corner. Some people flip both sides. There's so much to that. But again, nerd. What would you expect? Earlier this week, I had to take a break from crocheting. My wrist was sore. You're not stretching and exercising it, are you? Honey, you got to take care of you. We need that. So please remember exercising, stretching, and yes, occasionally resting is all a part of the process. 1, 2, 3, yay! I just finished this particular square. So let me get this done. And I am forever learning. So I totally encourage you, watch those tutorials and learn trips, little tips and things like that. For example, I never thought about closing the corner of a round with the half double. And I saw a different content creator mention it, and I'd seen it before, but never really done it. I was always the chain two close. Now that is my primary way of doing things, and it's so much easier and cleaner. And Nana Michelle said, I'll be there for sure with coffee in hand. Bring me a cup. The stitch for the sweater is interesting. I'm going to love it. It's the LTDR. Okay, this is not clicking for me. It's the L. The L is messing me up. TDR, double treble, or yeah, double treble. And Charlotte said, I'm making a bag using 3 squares with 10 rows each. Oh my goodness, is that the one that has where you fold the squares like this, and you put like one this way, and then one at the bottom as the base? I'm wondering. See, granny squares, I love them. This is what we do. And Silas said, yes, I've been crocheting for 15 years and still learning new things. I've been crocheting for almost 25 years. And I'm always learning new things, new techniques, new ways of doing things that make things simpler. Okay, so here's my question for you, Charlotte. See, brain squirrel. What are you going to be doing for the handle? Are you going to use a pre-made handle, or are you going to make your own? And Nana Michelle said, long double treble. It's an entrelac. Like that makes a treble. Okay, very good. Now, see, I don't know a lot about entrelac. I've seen it. I intend to, at some point in my life, learn more about it. But right now, the girls' plate is full. So I want to know, Charlotte, I got to know, what are we doing for the handle? Because I've seen some that are super cool with, they almost look like belts. They're the long leather straps with that beautiful bag. Oh my goodness. And then I've seen others that were designed where you crochet the handles and you personalize it based on if you're a taller person and more statuesque, so you want the longer handle, or maybe you want the shorter handle because the yarn you're using is going to stretch. The nerd, she loves these things. Yes. And Melissa said, I'm working on my first knitted cardigan. It's so tedious. I prefer crochet because it goes faster, which is why when I started crocheting, I stopped knitting. Just saying. Not not yucking anyone's yum. I still find knit is a beautiful discipline. I'm just not that disciplined. And Charlotte said, well, I have straps. That's what I have, the long one. Okay, excellent. I love it. I love it. 1 second, bear with me. I am sewing in my ends. One of my, I don't think I ever struggled so much with the experience. I know there are people that detest sewing in their ends. This to me is so calming and so relaxing. It made better, of course, with a good needle. And I think the funny part about needles, much like stitch markers, I buy them in large quantities because I'm always losing them. Like, okay, this is me telling on myself. You saw my little 5. This is my needle 5. I think it comes with 10. And I usually buy 2 or 3 sets of these at a time. This has, other than the needle I'm working with, 3 needles left in it. So I will be ordering more needles very soon. And I will share with you guys what I do with these 5s. Not only does it have the little 5 for you to keep your needles in, it has a key ring. But what I do is I add a few stitch markers on mine because I always need stitch markers. And I don't want to be running around looking for stitch markers. If I've got needles, then I'm going to need a place to either hold stitch markers as I take them out or stitch markers to mark a spot. So that's my little share of the day for that. 1 second, let me pull this through and we're going to give it one more good run through. The other thing I like about these particular needles is not just the bend, but the fact that the point is so narrow. So it goes right through my yarns beautifully because I want to blend it into the fiber itself so that it doesn't come loose. And that's one. Let me get this one in. Thank you, Army Mom. Thank you. I know, like I said, I buy them in large quantities and I'm gonna lose them. I've accepted it. It's a part of the expense. I can't see what just popped up on my screen, but my other child is being creative and just their comment just popped through. But they're working on a project of things they're making and want me to take a look at it. And I want to look at it, but right now I can't. And they know I'm busy. Little monster. And here's the other thing. If they get enthusiastic and decide that they want to burst in the room, they can't get in because I locked the door. I'm a meanie. And it isn't that I'm mean. I like our time together and I don't like interruptions. So, in order to make sure that I'm not interrupted or one of the kids doesn't walk in and just keep walking up to me without realizing that I'm talking to you guys and be seen on camera when they very clearly said that's not something they want to do, I take away the temptation by locking the door, because neither of my children respects boundaries. Oh, one will knock, but while they're knocking, they're walking in. So there's that. I don't know about you guys, but my kids literally, they don't care. I can be doing anything. I can be trying to sleep. Mom, 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 mom. No, 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 no. Lock the door. Lock the door. So that one's done for that side. Now on to the next one. And I don't think I'm going to start it because I won't be able to get all the way around it in this session. So for those of you who are curious what this week is going to look like for Yes Michelle Crochets, let me catch you up to speed real quick. And then we can talk a little bit more before I have to call it a night. Tomorrow, of course, is our stitch circle. And I need to take a moment, and I think we have enough fresh questions that I don't need to get questions. But this week, that is something I need to do. Work on new questions for our stitch circle. I will get that done, and then I've got I need to come up with my thoughts for the top 10 things I want to do possibly as video ideas for the month of September. I haven't fleshed those ideas out. And to know me is to know I'm a planner. I think very strategically about what I want to bring to the channel, because sometimes it's going to require research. And in order to make sure I have time for that research, I need to get behind the scenes and do my homework. I love learning. And then, of course, like I said, I've already filmed and uploaded this upcoming week's Cozy Encyclopedia episode, but I want to try tomorrow to get another episode filmed. I'd like to stay a week ahead of that so that if my schedule crunch happens and I get behind, I'm not literally finishing a full day of work and then trying to film, edit, and upload a video for you guys, because I don't like disappointing you. I don't like disappointing myself. But most of all, I know there are people who are looking forward to my take on things. And if I don't show up for me, why am I even doing this? So that's Sunday. Of course, Monday is our video premiere. This my Netflix confessional. I'm excited to hear you guys' comments about that video. And then, of course, throughout the week, I will be working on scripting, editing, and all of those things. And then next Saturday, we'll either not have a yarn bistro or we will have an abbreviated one. So you guys are going to want to make sure that your notifications are on so that when I drop things on the post, you'll have a better understanding of what my week might look like. See, Silas, I live by that statement. Plan your work and work your plan. And then my snarkiness, because in the back of my head, when I write out all my plans and I look at what my goal sets are, the part of me that is the rebel goes, you said all that to say what? Because I'm always arguing with me about, can I accomplish everything I set out to do? And the honest answer is I can if I stick to the plan and I stop when I'm supposed to stop. Thank you, Army Mom. I love that. So those are the kinds of things that I know for me are important. Being able to sit down and see the time availability to keep myself on track as far as my schedule. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. But if I don't see the plan in front of me, it's easy for me to get distracted or to assume that I've got plenty of time to do this. So tonight and tomorrow particularly will be the days that I will contemplate what are the 10 things that I know I can create a video about. And no, I'm not going to create each and every one of those videos, but having a pool to draw from and then narrow it down based on what the metrics of SEO and search engine optimization is what SEO stands for, by the way. What we're seeing is being researched on YouTube and other places as an interest for the crochet community will influence whether or not I do certain videos. And it also has to be something that I want to know about. There is no reason for me to make a video about something I'm not genuinely interested in or passionate about. You're not, if it happens, please let me know that apparently I need to go see a doctor. If you catch me doing a long video about amigurumi, I'm not well. Please check in on me because apparently I'm broken. That's just not my thing. It doesn't mean it's not important. It doesn't mean it doesn't have value, but that's just not who I am. It's not genuine or germane to me. Can I talk about it from an intellectual point of view as it relates to stitches? Certainly, and I do. But I'm not going to do that. That's not my thing. Telling you the top 10 amigurumi projects for 2026, not here. That's not what I'll talk about. But will I tell you the latest trends in yarn dyeing? Yeah, because that actually interests me. Do I know how to dye yarn? No, I won't. That's not my thing. But I'm not going to I'm not going to jump in a rabbit hole that doesn't hold my interest because I cannot give you the authenticity of who I am in that space. I love learning, but it has to be something I want to enjoy. And I think my enthusiasm shows in the videos that I make. And then of course I still have to make another video for the other channel. Now, I think I'm 2 weeks ahead on that channel, but I want to stay 2 weeks ahead. Like I said, I am packing up a college student to take them back to school, and that requires some focus on my part because I have to think strategically for them and for me and still fit that into my everyday life, give the love and support that I need to my daycare, and pay attention to the businesses that we don't talk about because I have to do all of that and eat and shop and eat and sleep, all of those wonderful things. So guys, do me a favor, leave me a couple of quick ideas of what your week is going to look like. And if you all have any final questions before we call it a night, I am going to take a second and have a sip because the mouth is dry. And I want to say a very special thank you to those of you who have been in the balcony this evening. I've so appreciated you being here. Oh, that's so good. I'm probably going to guzzle that as soon as I'm done. I'm just being honest. I am just being honest. Oh, because tomorrow is a planner day, I want to show you this. I love this pen. I love this pen. This is my Dr. Grip, and she is so pretty. But I have another red pen. It just has a clear gripper on the bottom. But when I saw this, I had to get it. So I had to show and share because it's cute. And I have a pink one, but it's in the other room. So I can't think of too many more things I want to share with you. I think we're just going to enjoy the music a little bit. And I am going to be quiet for a second because I haven't had the chance to do that yet. Okay, but I'm not liking that. Why does that sound like Frank Sinatra and Christmas? And neither which am I feeling. let's see. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I knew I would forget. This is why I have notes, and there are no notes on Your Own Bistro. Tomorrow, our music will be all of the music that I have been creating with AI behind the scenes. I have so much fun making that music. I hope you guys are genuinely enjoying it because I'm telling you, this has been a wheelhouse I never would have thunk I could do. Being someone born in the 70s, I always saw music as an area of my life that I could enjoy as a supporter, but not a participant because I don't play instruments and I don't sing. And I can't and I shouldn't, especially the last one. But getting to write songs with the help of AI and then putting them through a system with music that I enjoy has been so much fun for me, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you to go invest in a subscription to those platforms, but if that's something you like doing, oh, it's so much fun to have one of my kids walk in and go, I wish there was a song about the color green. And I'm like, there is Sesame Street. No, 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 no. Something original and different. And then being able to just, talk with them through some ideas and putting it through an AI system and genuinely create a whole song about the color green. That stuff is so much fun for me. I cannot I cannot recommend that more to you guys. But yeah, it's been a week and I needed this tonight. I needed you guys tonight. And I thank you because your presence, it matters. It genuinely matters. And I'm going to get in trouble with two of my team members right now. You guys, thank you all because you all have been sticking with my content and I have been watching my watch hours increase. I have a personal goal to increase my watch hours to a particular level, and having you all stay engaged and not hit pause and not hit rewind when you're watching premieres or when you're watching me live has been so helpful to me because yes, I needed that. I just heard someone knocking at my door, and I know they've already tried to knock the lock and they can't get in, and that's okay. They can wait. But I've greatly appreciated that because one of the things that has been kind of sad to see is some of the hallmark channels of our community are no longer monetized because they don't stay focused on their watch hours. I don't want to, but the reality of it is if I want the channel to continue to be monetized, I need to prioritize making sure I'm hitting those goal sets. And that's something that is important to me. So I'm grateful for every moment that you're there watching my content. So as we're concluding tonight, if you still need somebody to keep you company through the evening, I highly encourage you to, by all means, hit replay on something maybe you've seen before or catch one of the live streams that I've already done. Nana Michelle said, I'm still here counting, LOL. I totally understand. I totally understand. And I'm appreciative. I'm so appreciative. But like I said, that watch hour factor has rocked a lot of the smaller channels. And Lori, I have to ask you if you're subscribed and you have actually clicked your bell notification because that's how you're missing me. I think our times are not lining up because you're not getting notifications when I go live. And I tried my best to remember to schedule my lives soon enough that it will trigger the notification factor. But nonetheless, Lori, once I'm concluded, I would dearly appreciate it if you go back and watch and support me because, honey, you know I keep you on the regular of watching. By the way, you are the funniest person. I love you. So, okay, it's 9 o'clock. I am going to call us done for the night. The Yarn Bistro is officially closing. The velvet ropes are returning to their space. And until I see you again, i.e., tomorrow morning, you guys have a beautiful evening. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you're hydrating and stretching. Wait a minute. Okay. Lori said, yep, forgot to click that bell. Click the bell, ma'am. And Charlotte said, I will watch your videos during the week while I relax a little bit more for peace of mind. I am so grateful. And I'm glad I can do that for you. I'm really glad I can do that for you. Until I see you guys again, you all take care. Have some fun tonight, and I'll see you in the morning. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.